Today, I'm presenting a hardware-first security architecture that makes execution itself sovereign. Instead of trusting firmware, software, or remote servers, this system enforces a simple rule at the silicon boundary: no valid authorization, no execution. Modern defense and critical infrastructure systems often rely on foreign chips, opaque firmware, and complex software security. That creates three major risks: hidden firmware backdoors, supply chain interdiction, and remote deactivation. Even if the software is Indian, the right to execute may still be controlled elsewhere. We need a security model that cannot be bypassed by software or firmware. My solution has three parts. First, STI, the Sovereign Token Interface, which injects a sovereign policy token through a one-way path. Second, DAP, the Deterministic Authorization Primitive, a non-bypassable hardware gate that decides allow or deny. Third, ELL, the Evidence and Logging Layer, which records every authorized and denied event for audit and forensics. Let's start with STI. A sovereign authority defines policy and issues a sovereign token. That token is injected through a one-way interface, meaning software cannot read it, copy it, or modify it. STI binds execution rights to jurisdictional control. Even if the operating system is compromised, it cannot override the token logic, because the token is not a software permission, it's a hardware condition. Next is DAP. DAP sits directly on the execution boundary between commands and the physical ability to execute. For every instruction, command, or actuator request, DAP produces a deterministic binary output: authorized or blocked. If authorized, execution proceeds normally. If unauthorized, the gate physically blocks the execution path by disabling enable signals, bus grants, clock paths, or equivalent hardware routes, so the command cannot execute even if the firmware tries. This is deterministic. The same invalid condition results in the same denial behavior: no partial execution, no retries, no privilege escalation. In safety-critical systems, denial can trigger a controlled safe state, like isolating the actuator domain, disabling external outputs, or restricting to read-only diagnostics. The key idea is simple: security is enforced at the physical gate, not by software promises. Now, ELL, the Evidence and Logging Layer. Every authorized and denied action is recorded into a sealed log. ELL provides compliance and forensic value without exposing the internal authorization law. This enables accountability. When someone asks who attempted what and when, you have a hardware trustworthy audit trail, especially important for defense, critical infrastructure, and regulated deployments. This architecture is designed for defense and national systems: drones, robotic platforms, radar controllers, satellites, industrial control, and sovereign AI servers. It also extends cleanly to quantum and hybrid quantum classical systems. A quantum processor still requires a classical control plane. DAP can gate quantum job admission, control sequence dispatch, and measurement readout, so quantum capability cannot be invoked without sovereign authorization. Conventional security focuses on secure boot, certificates, and software controls. Those can fail if keys leak, firmware is opaque, or updates are compromised. My approach shifts the root of trust from software to silicon law: token-bound authorization at a non-bypassable execution gate with immutable evidence logging. In summary, STI decides who has the right to authorize, DAP decides what is allowed to execute, and ELL ensures every decision is accountable. This creates a sovereign execution layer that remains effective even when software, firmware, or networks cannot be trusted. I'm seeking support for prototype integration and validation with Indian defense and strategic partners, so India can move from using AI hardware to owning the right to execute. In a conflict, do we want our machines to ask permission from foreign firmware or from a sovereign token under Indian control?